President Obama travels to Costa Rica today for a regional summit meeting. The president met yesterday with Mexico's new president, and the topics included gun trafficking across the border. At a news conference, President Obama said he will ask Congress again to approve new gun laws.
The last time we had major gun legislation, it took 6, 7, 8 tries to get passed. Things happen somewhat slowly in Washington, but this is just the first round.
With us now, Chief Washington correspondent and host of Face the Nation, Bob Schieffer. Bob, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Charlie.
Let's begin with gun control. What's realistic? What's possible?
Well, I think the White House now thinks that it might be possible to, with some little few changes in this background check thing, to actually get this bill passed. But it's going to take a tremendous push by the president, both in public, but more importantly, behind the scenes. They have got to find a senator that voted against this, a Republican who is willing to now vote for it. And whether they can do that, I think a lot of that depends on what happens out in the country. You're seeing a lot of the victims of the Newtown tragedy now showing up at town hall meetings. It's going to take pressure from out in the country on these senators to get them to do what they were unable to do before. But I think there's still a wisp of a chance here, but it's going to take a lot of work on record and behind the scenes especially.
Bob, there's a lot on the president's agenda, including implementing Obamacare, and you saw Jan Crawford report early on our show about how many businesses are asking questions about how is this going to work. Do you think this is the next big story? How does the White House handle it?
I think it is going to be a big story, and it is far from resolved. I don't think there's any question that the administration has done an absolutely atrocious job of trying to explain what is in this bill. I, for one, believe it is a mistake to pass legislation that does not go into effect immediately. I mean, you know, they passed this law literally years ago, but only now is it going into effect, and people still don't know what is involved here. So they've got a lot of work to do. You heard Max Baucus, the chairman of the Finance Committee, saying we could have a train wreck here, and somebody has got to start explaining this thing to people before it goes into effect.
Bob, I wanted to shift gears a little bit and talk about George Jones. I know that you and many of Nashville's biggest country stars paid tribute to him yesterday. You said wonderful things like, God made just one like him. Aren't we glad that he did? What made George Jones one of your favorites?
Well, I tell you, he was a unique personality. He was also a unique talent. Somebody said at this yesterday that George Jones was the only singer that could make the word church into a 5-syllable word. He could just do, there's Brad Paisley. He could do things with his voice that other people just couldn't do. But